I've attempted this before. I don't want to attempt it again. It is very late right now. We're going to get right into this. It is almost 3 a.m. My phone. It's backwards, but it's 2:40. Ignore my very bad screen protector. Don't judge me too harsh. But we're going to get right into this because I don't want to be up till 7 in the morning. I want to go to bed tonight or this morning. So we're starting right now. We're reading every single Pokemon's Pokédex entry in one sitting without getting up. This is going to be something. Give me a little sip. All right, let's just start. There is a plant seed on its back right from the day this Pokemon is born. This seed slowly grows larger. When the bulb on its back grows large, it appears to lose the ability to stand on its hind legs. Its plants bloom when it's absorbing sunlight. It stays on the move to seek sunlight. It has a preference for hot things. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. It has a barbaric nature. In battle, it whips its fiery tail around and slashes away with sharp claws. It spits fire that is hot enough to melt boulders. It may cause forest fires by blowing flames. I got myself a huge glass of water. I know I'm going to need a lot of that. When it retracts its long neck into its shell, it squirts out water with vigorous force. It is recognized as a symbol of longevity. If its shell has algae on it, the Wartortle is very old. It crushes its foes under its heavy body to cause fainting. In a pinch, it will withdraw inside its shell. For protection, it releases a horrible stench from the antenna on its head to drive away enemies. It is waiting for the moment to evolve. At this stage, it can only harden, so it remains motionless to avoid attack. In battle, it flaps its wings at great speed to release highly toxic dust into the air. Beware the sharp stinger on its head. It hides in the grass and bushes where it eats leaves. Able to move only slightly, when endangered, it may stick out its stinger and poison the enemy. It has 3 poisonous stingers on its forelegs and tails. They are used to jab the enemy. They are used to jab its enemies repeatedly. Very docile. If attacked, it will often kick up sand to protect itself rather than fight back. This Pokemon is full of vitality. It constantly flies around its large territory in search of prey. This Pokemon flies at Mach 2 speed, seeking prey. Its large talons are feared as wicked weapons. Will chew on anything with its fangs. If you see one, you can be certain that 40 more live in the area. Its hind feet are webbed. They act as flippers, so it can swim in rivers and hunt for prey. Inept at flying high, however, it can fly around very fast to protect its territory. A Pokemon that dates back many years. If it senses danger, it flies away instantly. The older it gets, the longer it grows. At night, it wraps its long body around tree branches to rest. The frightening pattern on its belly have been studied. 6 variations have been confirmed. Pikachu that can generate powerful electricity have cheek sacs that are extra soft and super stretchy. That's gross. Its long tail serves as ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power. It loves to bathe in the grit of dry, sandy areas by sandbathing. The Pokemon rids itself of dirt and moisture clinging to its body. And I know this is going to take me forever, so I'm just trying to go through them. We're going through them together. We are bonding. The drier the area Sandslash lives in, the harder and smoother the Pokemon's spike will feel when touched. Females are more sensitive to smells than males. While foraging, they'll use whiskers to check wind directions and stay downwind of predators. The horn on its head has atrophied. It's thought that this happens so Nidorina's children won't get poked while their mother is feeding them. Nidoqueen is better at defense than offense. With scales like armor, this Pokemon will shield its children from any attack. The horn of male Nidoran's forehead contains a powerful poison. This is a very cautious Pokemon, always straining its large ears. With a horn that's harder than diamonds, this Pokemon goes around shattering boulders as it searches for a moonstone. When it goes on a rampage, it's impossible to control, but in the presence of Nidoqueen it's lived with for a long time, Nidoking calms down. It is said that happiness will come to those who see a gathering of Clefairy dancing under a full moon. A timid fairy Pokemon that is rarely seen. It will run and hide the moment it senses people. While young, it has 6 gorgeous tails. When it grows, several new tails are sprouted. It is said to live 1,000 years, and each of its tails is loaded with supernatural powers. Jigglypuff has top-notch lung capacity. Even by comparison to other Pokemon, it won't stop singing its lullabies until its foes fall asleep. The more air it takes in, the more it inflates. If opponents catch it in a bad mood, it will inflate itself to an enormous size to intimidate them. It emits ultrasonic waves from its mouth to check its surroundings. Even in tight caves, Zubat flies around with skill. It loves to drink other creatures' blood. It is said that if it finds others of its kind going hungry, it sometimes shares the blood it's gathered. If exposed to moonlight, it starts to move. It roams far and wide at night to scatter the seeds. Its pistils. Said that right, by the way. Its pistils exude an incredible foul odor. The horrid stench can cause fainting at a distance of 1.25 miles. Holy. Wow, that's dangerous. It has the world's largest petals. With every step, the petals shake out heavy clouds of toxic pollen. Burrows under the ground to gnaw on tree roots. The mushrooms on its back absorb most of the nutrients. The bug host is drained of energy by the mushroom on its back. The mushroom appears to do all the thinking. Its large eyes act as a radar. In a brilliant place, you can see that they are clusters of many tiny eyes. The powdery scales on its wings are hard to remove from skin. They also contain poison that leak out on contact. If Diglets dig through a field, it leaves the soil perfectly tilled and ideal for planting crops. A team of Diglett triplets. It triggers huge earthquakes by burrowing 60 miles underground. This is going so well. It loves to collect shiny things. If it's in a good mood, it might even let its trainer have a look at its hoard of treasures. Getting this prideful Pokemon to warm up to you takes a lot of effort, and it will claw at you the moment it gets annoyed. Psyduck is constantly beset by headaches. If the Pokemon lets its strained power erupt, apparently the pain subsides for a while. This Pokemon lives in gentle flowing rivers. It paddles through the water with its long limbs, putting its graceful swimming skills on display. An agile Pokemon that lives in trees. It angers easily and will not hesitate to attack anything. Stops being angry only when nobody else is around. To view this moment is very difficult. It has a brave and trustworthy nature. It fearlessly stands up to bigger and stronger foes. The sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. For Poliwag, swimming is easier than walking. The swirl pattern on its belly is actually part of the Pokemon's innards, showing through the skin. Staring at the swirl on its belly causes drowsiness. This trait of Poliwhirls has been used in place of lullabies to get children to go to sleep. Look at my guts, kids! Its body is solid muscle. When swimming through cold seas, Poliwrath uses its impressive arms to smash through drift ice and plow forward. This Pokemon uses its psychic powers while it sleeps. The contents of Abra's dreams affect the powers of that Pokemon wields. Using its psychic powers, Kadabra levitates as it sleeps. It uses its springy tail as a pillow. It has incredibly high level of intelligence. Some say that Alakazam remembers everything that happens to it from birth till death. Its whole body is composed of muscles. Even though it is the size of a human child, it can hurl 100 grown-ups. Now, does that mean 100 grown-ups at the same time? Or like 100 grown-ups like in a row? They'd both be hard, but I just want to know. Its muscular body is so powerful, it must weigh It must wear a power save belt to be able to regulate its motions. It quickly swings its forearms to rock its opponents with ceaseless punches and chops from all angles. Prefers hot and humid places. It ensnares tiny bugs with its vines and devours them. When hungry, it swallows anything that moves. Its hapless prey is dissolved by strong acids. Lures prey with the sweet aroma of honey. Swallowed whole, the prey is dissolved in a day, bones and all. Tentacle is not a particularly strong swimmer. It drifts across the surface of shallow seas as it searches for prey. Wow, is that a tongue twister. When the red orbs on Tentacruel's head glow brightly, watch out. The Pokemon is about to fire off a burst of ultrasonic waves. Commonly found near mountain trails and the like. If you step on one by accident, it gets angry. That makes sense. Often seen rolling down mountain trails, obstacles are just a thing to roll straight over, not avoid. Once it sheds its skin, its body turns tender and whitish. Its hide hardens when it's exposed to air. That was just weird. It can't run properly when it's newly born. As it races around with others of its kinds, its legs grow stronger. This Pokemon can be seen galloping through fields at a speed of 150 miles per hour, its fiery mane fluttering in the wind. Slow-witted and oblivious, this Pokemon won't feel any pain if its tail gets eaten. It won't notice when its tail grows back either. Slowpoke became Slowbro when a Shelder bit onto its tail. Sweet flavors seeping from the tail made the Shelder feel as if its life is a dream. At times, Magnemite runs out of electricity and ends up on the ground. If you give batteries to a grounded Magnemite, it'll start moving again. This Pokemon is 3 Magnemite that have linked together. Magneton sends out powerful radio waves to study its surroundings. The stalk of this Pokemon carries in its wings serves as a sword to cut down its opponents. In a dire situation, the stalk can also serve as food. Its short wings make difficult flying. Instead, the Pokemon runs at high speed on developed legs. One of Doduo's 2 heads split to form a unique species. It runs close to 40 miles per hour in prairies. Loves freezing cold conditions. Relishes swimming in frigid climates of around 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Entire body is a snowy white. Unharmed by even intense colds, it swims powerfully in icy waters. Made of congealed sludge, it smells too putrid to touch. Even weeds won't grow in its path. Smells so awful it can cause fainting. Through degeneration of its nose, it has lost its sense of smell. It swims facing backwards by opening and closing its 2-piece shell. It is surprisingly fast. Its shell is extremely hard. It cannot be shattered even with a bomb. They tested that. That's not right. The shell opens only when it is attacking. Born from gases, anyone would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. Its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victim starts shaking constantly until death eventually comes. Holy fuck. On the night of a full moon, if shadows move on their own and laugh, it must be Gengar's doing. As it digs through the ground, it absorbs many hard objects. This is what makes its body so solid. If you sleep by it all the time, it will sometimes show you dreams it had eaten in the past. Avoid eye contact if you come across one. It will try to put you to sleep by using its pendulum. It can be found near the sea. The large pincers grow back if they are torn out of their socket. Large and hard pincer has 10,000 horsepower strength. However, being so big, it is unwieldy to move. It is said to camouflage itself as a Pokeball. It will self-destruct with very little stimulus. Stores electrical energy inside its body. Even the slightest shock could trigger a huge explosion. Though it may look like just a bunch of eggs, it's a proper Pokemon. Execute communicates with others of its kind via telepathy, apparently. Each of Executor's 3 heads is thinking different thoughts. The 3 don't seem to be very interested in one another. When the memory of its departed mother brings it to tears, It cries echo mournfully within the skull it wears on its head. This Pokemon overcame its sorrow to evolve a sturdy new body. Marowak faces its opponents bravely, using a bone as a weapon. This amazing Pokemon has awesome sense of balance. It can kick in succession from any position. It punches slice the air. They are launched at such high speed, even a slight graze could cause a burn. If this Pokemon's sticky saliva gets on you and you don't clean it off, an intense itch will set in. The itch won't go away either. Its body is full of poison gas. It floats into garbage dumps, seeking out the fumes of raw, rotting trash. It mixes gases between its two bodies. It's said that these Pokemon were seen all over the Galar region back in the day. Strong but not too bright, this Pokemon can scatter even a skyscraper with its charging tackles. It begins walking on its hind legs after evolution. It can punch holes through boulders with its horns. The egg Chansey carries is not only delicious, but also packed with nutrition. It is used as a high-class cooking ingredient. Hidden beneath a tangle of vines that grow non-stop, even if the vines are torn off, this Pokemon's true appearance remains a mystery. Although it's carrying its baby in a pouch on its belly, Kangaskhan is swift on its feet. It intimidates its opponents with quick jabs. Horsey makes it home in oceans with gentle currents. If this Pokemon is under attack, it spits out pitch black inks and escapes. It's the male that raises the offspring. While Seadra are raising young, the spines of their backs secrete thicker and stronger poison. Its dorsal, pectoral, and tail fins wave elegantly in the water. This is why it is known as the water dancer. In autumn, its body becomes more fatty and preparing to propose to a mate. It takes on beautiful colors. If you visit a beach at the end of the summer, you'll be able to see a group of Staryu lighting up in a steady rhythm. This Pokemon has an organ known as its core. The organs glow in 7 colors when Starmie is unleashing its potent psychic powers. The broadness of its hands may be no coincidence. Many scientists believe its palms became enlarged specifically for pantomiming. As Scyther fights more and more battles, its scythes become sharper and sharper. With a single slice, Scyther can fell a massive tree. In certain parts of Galar, Jinx was once feared and worshipped as the Queen of Ice. Many power plants keep ground-type Pokemon around as defense against Electabuzz that come seeking electricity. Magmar dispatches its prey with fire, but it regrets this habit once it realizes that it has burned its intended prey to a charred crisp. These Pokemon judge one another based on pincers. Thicker, more impressive pincers make for more popularity with the opposite gender. When Tauros begins whipping itself with its tails, it's a warning that Pokemon is about to charge with astounding speed. It is virtually worthless in terms of both power and speed. It is the most weak, pathetic Pokemon in the world. Tell me how you really feel. It has an extremely aggressive nature. The Hyper Beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets. A smart and kind-hearted Pokemon, it glides across the surface of the sea while its beautiful song echoes around it. It can reconstitute its entire cellular structure to change into what it sees, but it returns to normal axis. It has the ability to alter the composition of its body to suit its surrounding environment. When Vaporeon's fins begin to vibrate, it is a sign that rain will come within a few hours. If it's angered or startled, the fur all over its body bristles like sharp needles that pierce foes. Once it has stored up enough heat, this Pokemon's body temperature can reach up to 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. State-of-the-art technology was used to create Porygon. It was the first artificial Pokemon to be created via computer programming. Because some Ammonite managed to escape after being restored or are released into the wild by Pokemon, the species is becoming a problem. Weighed down by a large, heavy shell, Amistar couldn't move very fast. Some say it went extinct because it was unable to catch food. This species is almost entirely extinct. Kabuto molt every 3 days, making their shell harder and harder. Kabutops slices its prey apart and suck out the fluids. The discarded body parts become food for other Pokemon. This is a ferocious Pokemon from ancient times. Apparently, even modern technology is incapable of producing it. It is not satisfied unless it eats over 880 pounds of food every day. When it is done eating, it goes promptly to sleep. It is said that this Pokemon's beautiful blue wings are made of ice. Articuno flies over snowy mountains, its long tail fluttering along behind it. This Pokemon has complete control over electricity. There are tales of Zapdos nesting in the dark depths of pitch-black thunderclouds. It is one of legendary bird Pokemon. When Moltres flaps its wings, they glimmer with a dazzling red glow. Dratini dwells near bodies of rapidly flowing water, such as plunge pools of waterfalls. As it grows, Dratini will shed its skin many times. This Pokemon lives with pristine oceans and lakes. It can control the weather, and it uses this power to fly into the sky, riding on the wind. Kind-hearted Pokemon, if it spots a drowning person or Pokemon, Dragonite simply must help them. Entei is almost the same as Muse, however, its size and disposition are vastly different. When viewed through a microscope, this Pokemon's short, fine, delicate hair can be seen. The weirdest one I've read. In battle, Chikorita waves its leaf around to keep the foes at bay. However, a sweet fragrance also wafts from the leaf, becalming the battling Pokemon and creating a cozy, friendly atmosphere all around. Bayleaf's neck is ringed by curled up leaves. Inside each tubular leaf is a small shoot of a tree. The fragrance of this shoot makes people peppy. The fragrance of Meganium's flower soothes and calms emotions. In battle, this Pokemon gives off more of a becalming scent to blunt the foe's fighting spirit. Cyndaquil protects itself by flaring up Cyndaquil protects itself by flaring up the flames on its back. The flames are vigorous if the Pokemon is angry. However, if it is tired, the flames sputter fitfully with incomplete combustion. Quilava keeps its foes at bay with the intensity of its flames and gust of its superheated air. The Pokemon applies its outstanding nimbleness to dodge attacks even while scorching the foes with flames. Typhlosion obscures itself behind a shimmering heat haze that it created using its intensely hot flames. This Pokemon creates blazing explosion blasts that burn everything to cinders. Despite the smallness of its body, Totodile's jaws are very powerful. While this Pokemon may think it's just playfully nipping, its body has enough power to cause serious injury. Once Crocodile has clamped its jaws on its foes, it will absolutely not let go. Because of the tips of its fangs are forked like barbed fish hooks, they become impossible to remove once they have sunk in. Feraligatr intimidates its foes by opening its huge mouth. In battle, it will kick the ground hard with its thick and powerful hind legs to charge the foes at an incredible speed. When Sentret sleeps, it does so while another stands guard. The sentry wakes the other at the first sight of danger. When this Pokemon becomes separated from the pack, it becomes incapable of sleep due to fear. Bird has a very slim build. When under attack, it can slickly squirm through narrow spaces and get away. In spite of its short limbs, this Pokemon is very nimble and fleet. It is always standing on one foot. It changes feet so fast, the movement can rarely be seen. Its eyes are specifically developed to enable it to see clearly even in murky darkness and minimal light. This Pokemon is very sensitive to cold. Even in the warmth of Alola, it appears quite lively. It is said that the patterns on its back are related to the stars. Sorry, I got distracted. It is said that the patterns on its back are related to the stars in the night sky, but the details of the relationship remain unclear. Sorry about that. With threads from its mouth, it fashions sturdy webs that won't break even if you set a rock on them. Every night, it wanders around in search of prey, whose movement is restrained by spewing threads before it bites them with its fangs. Both of its legs have turned into wings. Without a sound, Crobat flies swiftly towards its prey and sinks its fangs into the nape of its target's neck. Its antennae, which evolved from a fin, both have positive and negative charges flowing through them. The light it emits is so bright that it can illuminate the sea surface from a depth of over 3 miles. Despite its small size, it can zap even adult humans. However, if it does so, it also surprises itself. According to local rumors, Cleffa are often seen in places where shooting stars have fallen. Oh my god. Jigglypuff loves to sing. Its marshmallow body gives off a faint, sweet smell. The shell seems to be filled with joy. It is said that it will share good luck with treatly kinded. They say it will appear before kind-hearted, caring people and show the kindness. It is extremely good at climbing tree trunks and likes to eat the new sprouts on the tree. They say that it is still quiet because it is both seeking past and future at the same time. Clothing made from Mareep's fleece is easily charged with static electricity, so a special process is used on it. In the place of its body where fleece doesn't grow, the skin is rubbery and doesn't conduct electricity. Those spots are safe to touch. The light from its tail can be seen from space. This is why you can always tell exactly where it is, which is why it's usually kept off. Why it usually keeps the lights off. Plentiful in the tropics, when it dances, its petals rub together and make a pleasant ringing sound. God, I am tired. This Pokemon uses its round tail as a float. The ball Moril's tail is filled with nutrients that have been turned into an oil. It spends most of its time in the water. On sunny days, Azumarill floats on the surface of water and sunbathes. If a tree branch shakes and there's no wind, it is a Sudowoodo, not a tree. It hides from the rain. And at nightfall, these Pokemon appear on the shores and lakes. They announce their territorial claims by letting out cries that sound like shooting. This Pokemon drifts and floats with the wind. If it senses the approach of strong wind, Hoppip links its leaves with other Hoppip to prepare against being blown away. Skiploom's flower blossom when the temperature rises above 64 degrees Fahrenheit. How much the flower opens depends on the temperature. For that reason, this Pokemon is sometimes used as a thermometer. Jumpluff rides warm southern winds to cross the seas and fly to foreign lands. This Pokemon descends to the ground when it encounters cold wind while it's flying. As it did more and more with its tail, its hands become clumsy. It makes its nest high in the treetops. Sunkern tries to move as little as possibly can. It does so because it tries to conserve all the nutrients it has stored in its body for evolution. Sunflower converts solar energy into nutrients. It moves around actively in the daytime when it gets warm. It stops moving as soon as the sun goes down for the night. Yanma is capable of seeing 360 degrees without having to move its eyes. It is a great flyer that is adept at making sudden stops and turning midair. This Pokemon uses its flying ability to quickly chase down targeted prey. This Pokemon lives in cold water. It will leave the water to search for food when it gets cold outside. It has an easygoing nature. If it doesn't care if it bumps into its head or boats and boulders while swimming. By reading air currents, it can predict things such as the weather or its foe's next move. When this Pokemon becomes angry, its pores secrete a poisonous sweat, which it sprays at its opponent's eyes. What is this, skunk? It has a weakness for shiny things. It has been known to sneak in the nests of Gabite, noted collectors of jewels, in search of treasure. Miraculously, the Slowpoke's latent intelligence was drawn out by Sheller's poison, raced through its brain. It gives meaning to life, is surprising others. If you set your ear against red orbs around its neck, you can hear shrieking. Pokemon is shaped like ancient writing. It is mysterious as to which came first, the ancient writing or the various unknown. Research into this topic is ongoing, but nothing is known. It hates light and shock. If attacked, it inflates its body to pump out its counter-strike. Girafarig rear head also has a brain, but is small. The rear head attacks in response to smells and sounds. Approaching this Pokemon from behind can cause the rear head to suddenly lash out and bite. Motionless, it hangs from trees, waiting for its bug Pokemon prey to come to it. Its favorite in Alola is Cutiefly. When something approaches it, it fires off fragments of its steel shell and attack. This is not a conscious attack, but a conditioned reflex. Pokemon's tiny wings have some scientists saying that Dunsparks used to fly through the sky in ancient times. Gligar glides through the air without a sound, as if it were sliding. This Pokemon hangs on the face of its foes, using its clawed hind legs and the large pincers on its forelegs, then injects prey with its poison barbs. It is said that if Onix lived for 1,000 or 100 years, its composition changes to become diamond-like. This is a Steelix. Grows close to others easily and is easily spoiled. The disparity between its face and actions make many young people wild about it. While it has a powerful jaw, it doesn't care for disputes, so it rarely has a chance to display their might. When faced with a larger opponent, it swallows as much water as it can to match the opponent's size. Bulky pincers account for 1/3 of Scissor's body weight. A single swing of these pincers will crush a boulder completely. What am I doing? It stores berries inside its shell to avoid attacks. It hides beneath rocks. It remains completely still. My dog is about to. Doesn't happen. Why are you barking? No barking, baby, please. Hey, buddy. Heracross loves sweet sap. Buddy. Heracross loves sweet sap and will go looking through forest for it. Rogan. Hey. Are you done? Are you done? Heracross loves sweet sap and will go looking through forest for it. The Pokemon uses its 2 antennae to pick up scents as it searches. Paws conceals sharp claws. If attacked, it suddenly extends the claws and startles its enemies. Pokemon likes to lick its palms that are sweetened by its soaked in honey. Lady Ursa concocts its own honey by blending fruits and pollen collected by Beedrill. In the forest inhabited by Ursaring, it is said that there are many streams and towering trees where they gather food. This Pokemon walks through its forest, gathering food every day. Molten magma courses through Slugma's circulatory system. If this Pokemon is chilled, the magma cools and hardens. Its body turns brittle and chunks fall off, reducing its size. Macargo's shell is actually its skin that hardened as a result of cooling. Its shell is very brittle and fragile. Just touching it causes it to crumble apart. This Pokemon returns to its original size by dipping itself in magma. It rubs its snout on the ground to find and dig up food. It sometimes discovers hot springs. Rogan, hey. Waiting to see if he's going to be good. All right. If it charges at an enemy, the hairs on its back stand up straight. It is very sensitive to sound. It will regrow any branches that break off its head. People keep particularly beautiful Corsola branches as charms to promote safe childbirth. The water they shoot from their mouth can hit moving prey from more than 300 feet away. It has a tendency to want to be in holes. It prefers rocks and crags or pots and sprays ink at them before attacking. Carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who were saved by the food it had. If it builds up enough speed by swimming, it can jump out of the waves and glide for over 300 feet. Oh my god, I'm getting tired of sitting. This is the worst part of this. It's like you can start it, right? Like the first 30 minutes you're chilling, and then you're like, all right, I'm bored. No, I'm bored. Like this is fun. Oh, I am bored, but I don't know. The pointed feathers of these Pokemon are sharper than swords. Skarmory and Corviknight Skarmory and Corviknight fight viciously over territory. It cooperates with others skillfully. When it becomes your partner, it is very loyal to you as its trainer. And will obey your orders. They spew flames mixed with poison to finish off their poison. What? They spew flames mixed with poison to finish off their opponents. They divvy up their prey evenly among the members of their pack. With the arrival of a storm at sea, this Pokemon will show itself on the surface. When a Kingdra and a Dragonite meet, a fierce battle ensues. For its nest, Phanpy digs a vertical pit in the ground at the edge of a river. It marks the area around its nest with its trunk to let others know that this area has been claimed. Donphan's favorite attack is curling its body into a ball. Alright, sorry, I got really fucking distracted there. Donphan's favorite attack is curling its body into a ball, then charging at its foes while rolling at a high speed. Once it starts rolling, this Pokemon can't stop very easily. This is a Porygon that was updated with special data. Porygon develops itself by learning about many subjects all on its own. Stantler's magnificent antlers were traded at high prices as works of art. As a result, this Pokemon was hunted close to extinction by those who were after the priceless antlers. The fluid of Smeargle's tail secretions Oh my god. Y'all, this is not that easy. I keep stuttering and I'm just like staring and unfocusing. The fluid of Smeargle's tail secretions changes in the intensity of its hue as the Pokemon emotions change. It is always bursting with energy to make itself stronger. It keeps on fighting even if it loses. It launches kicks while spinning. If it spins at high speeds, it may bore its way into the ground. If its face gets even slightly dirty, Smoochum will bathe immediately. But if its body gets dirty, Smoochum doesn't really care. When a storm approaches, this Pokemon gets restless. Once Elekid hears the sound of thunder, it gets full-on rowdy. This Pokemon is still small and timid. Whenever Magby gets excited or surprised, flames leak from its mouth and its nose. Miltank produces highly nutritious milk, so it's been supporting the lives of people and other Pokemon since ancient times. Whenever a Blissey finds a weakened Pokemon, it will share its egg and offer its care until the other Pokemon is all better. Raikou embodies the speed of lightning. The roars of this Pokemon send shockwaves shuddering through the air and shake the ground as if lightning bolts have come crashing down. Excuse me. Entei embodies the passion of magma. This Pokemon is thought to have been born in the eruption of a volcano. It sends up massive bursts of fire that utterly consume all that they touch. Suicune embodies the compassion of a pure spring of water. It runs across the land with gracefulness. This Pokemon has the power to purify dirty water. Born deep underground, it comes above ground and becomes a pupa once it finishes eating the surrounding soil. Even sealed in the shell, it can move freely. Hard and fast, it has outstandingly destructive power. Its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack, so it is very eager to make challenges against enemies. Lugia's wings pack devastating power. A light fluttering of its wings can blow apart regular houses. As a result, this Pokemon chooses to live out of sight deep under the sea. OO's feathers glow in 7 colors, depending on the angle at which they are struck by light. These feathers are said to bring happiness to the bearer. This Pokemon is said to live at the foot of a rainbow. This Pokemon came from the future by crossing over time. It is thought that so long as Celebi appears, a bright and shining future awaits us. Trico has small hooks on the bottom of its feet that enable it to scale vertical walls. This Pokemon attacks by slamming foes with its thick tail. Leaves growing out of Grovile's body are convenient for camouflaging it from enemies in the forest. Pokemon is a master at climbing trees in jungles. The leaves growing on Sceptile's body are very sharp-edged. This Pokemon is very agile. It leaps all over branches of trees and jumps on its foes from above or behind. Torchic sticks with its trainer, falling from behind with unsteady steps. This Pokemon breathes fire of over 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, including fireballs that leave the foe scorched black. Anybody else think that like every number is just random? Kangaskhan toughens up its legs and thighs by running through fields and mountains. This Pokemon's legs possess both speed and power, enabling it to dole out 10 kicks in 1 second. Battle, Blaziken blows out intense flames from its wrists and attacks foes courageously. The stronger the foe, the more intensely this Pokemon's wrists burn. Fin on Mudkip's head acts as a highly sensitive radar. Using this fin to sense movements of water and air, this Pokemon can determine what is taking place around it without using its eyes. The surface of Marshtomp's body is enveloped by a thin, sticky film that enables it to live on land. This Pokemon plays in the mud on beaches when the ocean tide is low. Swampert is very strong. It has enough power to easily drag a boulder weighing more than a ton. This Pokemon also has vision powers that let it see in even murky water. At sight, Poochyena takes a bite at anything that moves. This Pokemon chases after prey until the victim becomes exhausted. However, if they turn tail if they strike back. Mightyena gives obvious signals when it is preparing to attack. It starts to growl deeply and then flatten its body. This Pokemon will bite savagely with its sharply pointed fang. It marks its territory by rubbing its bristly fur on trees. This variety of Zigzagoon is friendlier and calmer than the native kind to Galar. Fur is strong and supple. Shaving brushes made with shed Linoon hair are highly prized. The spike on its rear end, Wurmple peels the bark off trees. Sap that ooze out. This Pokemon's feet are tipped with suction pads that allow it to cling to glass without slipping. Silcoon tethers itself to a tree branch using silk to keep from falling. There, this Pokemon hangs quietly while it awaits evolution. It peers out of the silk cocoon through a small hole. Beautifly's favorite food is the sweet pollen of flowers. If you want to see a flower by an open window, Beautifly is sure to come looking for pollen. Kangaskhan makes its protective cocoon by wrapping its entire body with a fine silk from its mouth. It hardens. This Pokemon prepares for evolution inside the cocoon. Dustox is instinctively drawn to light. Swarms of this Pokemon are attracted by the bright lights of cities, where they wreak havoc by stripping the leaves off roadsides, trees for food. It searches for clean water. If it does not drink water for too long, nocturnal and becomes active at nightfall. It feeds on aquatic mosses that grow in the river. The rhythm of bright, festive music awaits Ludicolo's cell, making it more powerful. It remains still. It looks just like a real nut. Delights in surprise foraging Pokemon. It lives deep in forests. With a leaf on its head, it makes a flute whose song makes what the fuck? It makes a flute whose song makes listeners uneasy. That just sounds weird. Pokemon that was feared as a forest guardian. It can read the foe's mind and take preemptive action. Halo courageously stands its ground against foes, however strong they may be. This gutsy Pokemon will remain defiant even after a loss. On the other hand, it cries loudly if it becomes angry. Swallow flew high above our heads, making graceful arcs in the sky. This Pokemon dives at a steep angle as soon as it spots its prey. The hapless prey is tightly grasped by Swallow's clawed feet, preventing escape. It makes nests on sheer cliffs, riding the sea breeze. It glides up the expansive skies. The messenger of the skies, carrying small Pokemon and eggs to safety in its bill. Highly attuned to the emotions of people and Pokemon, it hides if it senses hostility. If its trainer becomes happy, it overflows with energy, dancing joyously while spinning about. It has the power to predict the future. Its power peaks when it's protecting its trainer. If it's in a pinch, it will secrete a sweet liquid from the tip of its head. Syrup made from gathering that liquid is tasty on bread. Masquerain intimidates enemies with the eye-like pattern of its eye spots. If that doesn't work out, it definitely makes its escape on its set of 4 wings. Grumus live in damp soil in the dark depths of forests. They are often found still under fallen leaves. Pokemon feeds on the compost that is made up of fallen rotten leaves. Beldum closes in on its foe's light, sprightly footwork, then throws punches with its stretchy arms. Pokemon fighting techniques puts boxers to shame. Blackhawk tolls around for 20 hours every day. Because it moves so little, it does not need very much food. This Pokemon's sole daily. Vigoroth is always itching and agitated to go on a wild rampage. It simply can't tolerate sitting still for even a minute. This Pokemon's stress level rises even if it can't be moving constantly. Not the name. Slacking spends all day lying down and rolling about. It eats grass growing within its reach. If it eats all of the grass it can reach, this Pokemon reluctantly moves to another spot. Because it lives almost entirely underground, it is nearly blind. It uses it. It cries, leaving a lasting headache if heard for too long. It moves so quickly that it is almost invisible. A most peculiar Pokemon that somehow appears in a Pokeball when a Nincada evolves. Cry of a Whismur is over 100 decibels. If you're close to a Whismur, when it lets out a cry, you'll be stuck with an all-day headache. Loudred's ears serve as speakers. They can put out sound waves powerful enough to blow away a house. I'm off the mic. I want to stay on the screen as much as I want to lay down. In the past, people would use the loud voices of these Pokemon as a means of communication between distant cities. Slaps, it slaps. It slaps, it slaps, it slaps. It slaps, it slaps, it slaps. It practices its slaps by repeatedly slapping tree trunks. It has been known to slap an Executor and get flung away. Although they enjoy comparing their strength, they're also kind. They value etiquette, praising opponents in battle. Ball of Azuriel's tail bounces like a rubber ball, and it's full of nutrients the Pokemon needs to grow. It moves less than an inch a year. But when it's in a jam, it will spin and drill down into the ground in a split second. Skitty has the habit of becoming fascinated by moving objects and chasing them around. This Pokemon is known to chase after its own tail and become dizzy. Delcatty prefers to live in an unfettered existence in which it can do as little as it pleases at its own pace. Because this Pokemon eats and sleeps whenever it decides, its daily routines are completely random. This Pokemon is feared. When its gemstone eyes begin to glow with a sinister shine, it believed that Sableye will protect people's spirited away. Will steal people's spirits away. Where did I get the word protect? It uses its docile looking face to lull foes into complacency, then bites with its huge relentless jaws. It eats iron ore and sometimes railroad tracks to build up steel armor that protects its body. Lairon lives in mountains brimming with spring water and iron ore, so these Pokemon often come into conflict with humans in the past. Aggron has a horn sharp enough to perforate thick iron sheets. It brings down its opponents by ramming them horn first. Meditite, it undertakes vigorous mental training deep in the mountains. However, whenever it meditates, this Pokemon always loses its concentration and focus. As a result, its training never ends. This is never ending. This will never end. It is said that It is said through meditation, Medicham heightens energy inside its body and sharpens its sixth sense. It stores static electricity in its fur for discharging. It gives off sparks if a storm approaches. It stimulates its own muscles with electricity so it can move quickly. It eases its soreness with electricity too, so it can recover quickly as well. Also always acts as a cheerleader for its partners. Whenever a teammate puts out good effort in battle, this Pokemon shorts out its body to create crackling noises of sparks to show its joy. Mina is more concerned about cheering on its partners than its own safety. It shorts out the electricity in its body to create brilliant showers of sparks to cheer on its teammates. With the arrival of night, Volbeat emits light from its tail. It communicates with others by adjusting the intensity and flashing of its light. This Pokemon is attracted by the sweet aroma of Illumise. Illumise attracts a swarm of Volbeat using a sweet fragrance. Once the Volbeat have gathered, the Pokemon leads the lit up swarm in drawing geometric designs on the canvas of the night sky. Its flowers go up with relaxing fragrance. The stronger its aroma, the healthier the Rosalia. Virtually all of Gulpin's body is its Virtually all of Gulpin's body is its stomach. As a result, it can swallow something its own size. The Pokemon's stomach contains a special fluid that digests anything. When swallowed spots prey, it spurs out a hideous toxic fluid from its pores. It preys the target. Once the prey is weakened, this Pokemon gulps it down with a cavernous mouth. It won't attack while it's alone, not even if it spots prey. Instead, it awaits for the other Carvanite to join it, and then the Pokemon attack as a group. As soon as it catches the scent of prey, Sharpedo will let seawater from its back, hurtling towards the target to attack at 70 miles per hour. It shows off by spraying jets of seawater from nostrils above its eyes. It eats a solid ton of wishy-washy every day. It can sometimes knock out opponents with the shock created by breaching and crashing its big body onto the water. Numal is extremely dull-witted. It doesn't notice being hit. However, it can't stand hunger for even a second. This Pokemon's body is a seething cauldron of boiling magma. Fuck off. Camerupt has a volcano inside its body. Magma of 1800 degrees Fahrenheit courses through its body. Occasionally, the humps of this Pokemon's back erupt, spewing the superheated magma. Buries coal inside its shell for energy. It blows black soot out if it's endangered. Boink bounces around on its tail. The shock of its bouncing makes its heart pump. As a result, this Pokemon cannot afford to stop bouncing. If it stops, its heart will stop. Trumpig uses the black pearls on its body to amplify its psychic powers, gaining total control over its foes. When this Pokemon uses its special power, its snorting breathes grow labored. Steps are shaky and stumbling. Walking for a long time makes it feel sick. Nest is sloped, bowl-like pin in the desert. Once something has fallen in, there is no escape. The ultrasonic waves it generates by rubbing its two wings together cause severe headaches. This Pokemon hides in the heat of sandstorms. It creates and seldom. Cacnea lives in arid locations such as deserts. It releases a strong aroma from its flower to attract prey. When prey comes near it, this Pokemon shoots sharp thorns from its body to bring the victim down. During the daytime, Cacnea remains unmoving so that it does not lose any moisture. Harsh desert sun. This Pokemon becomes active at night when the temperature drops. Its cottony wings are full of air, making them light and fluffy to touch. Swablu takes diligent care of its wings. As it flies in a calming, relaxed manner, Altaria performs a humming sound that would entrap any audience. About Bargat, buddy. Memories of battling its arch rival Seviper are etched into every cell of Zangoose' body. This Pokemon's dodges with incredible. Viper shares a generational long feud with Zangoose. Scars on its body are evidence of the vicious battle. This Pokemon attacks using its sword-edged tail. This phase in the moon apparently has some effect of its power. It active night of a full moon. It rotates itself. It gives off light similar blinding its foes. Climbing body is hard to grasp. In one region, it makes its nest at the bottom of swamps. It will eat anything. No matter how dirty the water in the river, it will adapt and thrive. It is a strong will. A rough customer that wildly flails its giant claws. It is said to be hard to raise. Moves while spinning around on its single foot. Some Baltoy have been seen spinning on their heads. On back a couple of degrees in our air. Here's Pokemon started life as an ancient clay. Lived in warm seas that existed approximately. It has short legs and can't walk very fast. But its neck and tentacles can extend to over 3 times their usual length to nab distant prey. It was restored from a fossil. Amaranth lived in the ocean about 100. Pokemon emerged onto land. Its lower body has become stronger and blood. Devastating. Though unattractive and unpopular, marvelous vitality has made it a subject of research. Milotic has provided inspiration to many artists, if it has ever been referred to as the most beautiful of all. Although its forms changes with the weather, that is apparently the result of a chemical reaction and not the result of its own free will. It changes its hue to blend into its surroundings. If no one takes notice for it too long, it will pout and never reveal itself. Up emotions like malice, jealousy, and resentment. Some people that are ungrateful, some people are grateful for its presence. The stuffed toy that was thrown away and became possessed, even ever searching for the one who threw it away so it can exact revenge. It finds bad children who won't listen to their parents it will spirit them away. Body is entirely hollow. When it opens its mouth, it sucks everything. Bunches of fruit growing around the neck of Tropius and Alola are especially sweet. Echo makes its cries echo inside the hollow body. When this Pokemon becomes enraged, its cries result in ultra swift as the wind. Absol races through fields and mountains. Weird time to pause, but I wanted water. Its curved bow-like horn is tends to move in a pack. Individuals squash. Say that they are seen at midnight. They'll cause heavy snow. They eat snow and ice to survive. Body of ice that won't melt, even with fire. It can instantly freeze moisture. This body is covered in blubber and impressively round. It's faster for Spheal to roll around than walk. Helio lives on top of drift ice. They go swimming when they go on the hunt, seeking out their prey by scent. Walrein form herds of 20. If threat appears, the herd's leader will protect the group with his life. Despite the appearance, it's carnivorous. It clamps down its prey with both sides of its shell and doesn't let go until it's a strong swimmer. It wags its tail to lure in its prey. The color of its body changes with the water temperature. The coloration of Gorbis and Alola is almost blind. Rock hard scales and oil filled swim bladder have intense water pressure. Arrow is overfished due to the rumor of having one of the heart shaped scales would enable you to find a sweetheart. Bagon jumps off cliffs every day trying to grow stronger so that maybe it will fly. Pokemon has covered its body with a hard shell that is a composition of bone. Shelgon stores energy for evolution. Salamence is an unusual Pokemon that it was able to evolve its body with wings just by constantly. Beldum emits a magnetic force. Cured on Beldum's sharp claws. Two Beldum have stuck together via their own magnetic forces. With two brains, the resulting Metang has doubled psychic powers. Because the magnetic powers of these Pokemon get stronger in freezing temperatures, Metagross live on snowy mountains are full of energy. Every bit of Regirock's body is made of stone. As part of the body erodes, this Pokemon sticks rocks to itself to repair what's been lost. With cold air that can reach temperatures as low as 328 degrees Fahrenheit, Regice constantly freezes any creature that approaches it. Registeel's body is made up of a strange material that is flexible enough to stretch and shrink, but more durable than any metal. Latias is highly sensitive to the emotions of people. If it senses hostility, this Pokemon ruffles the feather all over its body to intimidate the foe. Latios has the ability to make others see an image of what it has seen or images in its head. This Pokemon is intelligent and understands human speech. Through primal reversion, with its natural full power, it will take back its true form. It can summon storms that cause the sea levels to rise. Groudon is said to be a personification of land itself. Legends tell of its many clashes against Kyogre, as each sought to gain the power of nature. Rayquaza is said to have lived for thousands of years. Legends remain of how it put the rest of the clash between Kyogre and Groudon. Legend states that Jirachi will make true any wish that is written on notes attached to the head when it awakens. If this Pokemon senses danger, it will fight without awakening. DNA of Space Virus underwent a sudden mutation upon exposure to a laser beam and resulted in Deoxys. The crystalline organ of the Pokemon's chest appears to be its brain. Photosynthesis occurs across its body under the sun. The shell on its back is actually hardened soil. It lives along water in forests. In the daytime, it leaves the forest to sunbathe in tread shell. Ancient people imagined that beneath the ground a giant Torterra dwelt. Fiery rear end is fueled by gas made in its belly. Even rain can't. It skillfully controls the intensity of the fire on its tail to keep its foes at an ideal distance. Its crown of fire indicates of its fiery nature. It is beaten by none in terms of quickness. It doesn't like to be taken care of. It's difficult to bond with since it won't listen to trainers. Lives alone, away from others. Apparently every one of them believes it is the most important. Swims as fast as a jet boat. The edges of its wings are sharp and can slice apart drifting ice. They flock in great numbers. Though small, they flap their wings with great power. They maintain huge flocks, although fierce scuffles break out between various flocks. The muscles in its wings and legs are strong. It can easily fly while gripping a Pokemon. How did I say it like that? While gripping a Pokemon. With nerves of steel, nothing can perturb it. It is more agile and active than it appears. It's busy making its nest with stacks of branches and roots, and has cut up its sharp inserts. What? It chats with others using the sound of its colliding antenna. These sounds are fall hallmarks. Crosses its knife-like arms in front of its chest when it cries. It can compose melodies ad lib. Pokemon generates electricity by concentrating muscles. Excited trembling is a sign that Shinx is generating a tremendous amount of electricity. By joining its tail with that of another Luxio, this Pokemon can receive some of the other Luxio's electricity. Luxray can see through solid objects. It will instantly spot prey trying to hide behind walls, even if the walls are thick. The pollen it releases contains poison. If this Pokemon is raised on clean water, the poison's toxicity is increased. After captivating opponents with its sweet scent, it lashes them with thorny whips. A primeval Pokemon, it possesses a hard and sturdy skull, lacking any intelligence. Wow. In ancient times, people would dig up fossils of this Pokemon and use its skull, which is harder than steel, to make helmets. Mild-mannered herbivorous Pokemon, it uses its face to dig up tree roots to eat. The skin on its face was plenty tough. The bones of its face are huge and hard, so they were mistaken for a spine until after this Pokemon was successfully restored. To shelter itself from cold, wintry winds, it covers itself with a cloak made of twigs and leaves. Changed it, but it still says twigs and leaves no matter what. Very interesting. That's not twigs and leaves if you ask me. Ow, my shin. Its appearance changes depending on where it evolved. The material on hand becomes a part of its body. It loves the honey of flowers and steals honey collected by Combi. The members of the trio spend all their time together. Each of them has slightly different taste and nectar. Skillfully commands grubs in its body to... Skillfully commands its grubs in battle with its enemies. The grubs are willing to risk their lives to defend best. Makes fur balls that crackle with static electricity. Stores them with swims by rotating its two tails like a screw. When it dives, its flotation sacs collapse. Floats using its well-developed flotation sac and assists in the rescue of drowning people. Nimbly dashes about to avoid getting attacked by bird Pokemon that would like to make off with its small, nutritious, rich storage ball. But it barely moves. It is sitting still, placidly waiting for sunlight to appear. After absorbing plenty of sunlight, Cherrim takes its form. It's full of energy while it looks like this, and its liveliness will go on until sundown. This Pokemon habitat shapes its physique. According to some theories, life in warm ocean waters causes this variation to develop. The search for food sometimes leads it onto land where it lives behind a slime as it passes through. In their search for comfortable trees, they get into territorial disputes with groups of Pissimians about half the time. Perhaps seeking company, it approaches children. However, it often runs away quickly when the child play too roughly with it. Some say this Pokemon is a collection of souls burdened with regrets, silently drifting through the dusk. Both Baniri's ears are rolled up. Something is wrong with its body or mind. It's a sure sign that this Pokemon is in need of... Lopunny is constantly monitored its surroundings. If danger approaches, this Pokemon responds with... Feared for its wrath and the curses it spreads, this Pokemon will all cast spells on people. Absolutely not forgive failure from or betrayal by its goons. It has no choice if this wants to maintain the order in the flock. It claws if displeased and purrs when affectionate. If fickleness is popular amongst some. It would claim other Pokemon's nest as if its own to find a nest sufficiently comfortable. Each time it hops, it makes a ringing sound. It defends foes by emitting high-frequency cries. From its rear, it sprays a foul-smelling liquid at opponents. Aiming for their face, it can hit them from over 16 feet. In its belly, it reserves stinky fluid that it shoots from during its battle. Pokemon diet varies, so does the stench of its body, or of its fluid. Here's an ancient ruins. What? Oh, I'm getting so tired. Oh my god. It appears in ancient runes. The pattern on its body doesn't come from any culture in the Galar rune, so it remains shrouded in mystery. Blanket on the legs. Alright, some believe it was a deity that summons rain clouds. When angered, it let out a warning cry that rings out like a tolling of a bell. It expels both sweat and tears from its eyes. The sweat is a little salty while the tears have a slight bitterness. Mimics everyone it sees, but it puts extra effort into copying the graceful dance steps of Mr. Rhyme as practice. Picking Chansey, Happiny will place an egg-shaped stone in its belly pouch. Happiny will treasure this stone. It mimics the cries of other Pokemon to trick them into thinking it's one of them. This way they won't attack. Exactly 108 spirits gathered to become this Pokemon. Apparently there are some ill-natured spirits in the mix. Gibble prefers to stay in narrow holes in the side of its caves, heated by geothermal energy. This way Gibble can stay warm even during a blizzard. Pokemon emits ultrasonic waves from a protrusion on either side of the head to probe pitch gray darks. I know I messed that up. I'm not going back. I said it how I said it. That was how my brain read it. And we're reading it in one take. Oh my god. Garchomp makes its home in volcanic mountains. It flies through the sky as fast as jet airplane, hunting down as much prey as they can. Stuffing itself with a vast amount of food, its only concern. Whether the food is rotten or fresh, yummy or tasteless, it does not care. It is exceedingly energetic, with enough stamina to keep all the night. It controls waves known as auras, which are powerful enough to pulverize huge rocks. It uses these waves to take down its prey. It moves through sand with its open mouth, swallowing sand along with its prey. It gets rid of the sand by spouting from its nose. Stones get stuck in the ports of their body. Dwebbles help dislodge such stone. So Hippowdon look after these Pokemon. After burrowing in the sand, it waits patiently to prey to come near. This Pokemon and Silizipedes share common descent. Its poison is potent, but it's rarely seen used. This Pokemon prefers to use physical force instead. It goes on rampage with its car-crushing strength. Wow. It frightens noises with its poison-filled cheek stack. When opponents flinch, Croagunk hits them with a poison jab. It bounces towards opponents and gouges them with poisonous claws. No more than a scratch is needed to knock out adversaries. It tracks prey with a sweet-smelling saliva, then chomps down. It takes a whole day to eat prey. When night falls, this pink pattern begins to shine. They're popular with divers, so there are resorts and feed them to close. So there are resorts that feed them to keep them close. Deep down at the bottom of the ocean, prey is scarce. Lumineon get into fierce disputes with Lantern over food. Mantike living in Galar seem to be somewhat sluggish. The colder water of the seas in the region may be the cause. It lives on snowy mountains. It sinks its legs into the snow to absorb water and keep its own temperature down. If it sees any pack of Darumaka going after Snover, it chases them off, swinging its sizable arms like hammers. They attack their quarry in packs. Prey as large as Mammothswine easily fall to the teamwork of a group of Weavile. Some say that Magnezone receives signals from space via the antenna on its head, and that being controlled by some mysterious being. Licky's strange tongue can stretch to many times the length of its body. No one has figured out how Licky tongue stretch. No one has figured out how Licky. I'm done. No one has figured out how its tongue can stretch so far. Rhyperior, it can load up to 3 projectiles per arm into its holes in the hand. When it launches out, those holes could be either rocks or rock and roller. Tangrowth has 2 arms that can extend as it pleases. Research suggests that these arms are in fact bundles of vines. The amount of electrical energy this Pokemon produces is proportional to the rate of its pulse. The voltage jumps while Electivire is battling. When Magmortar inhales deeply, the fire burning in its belly intensifies, rising in temperature to over 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. These Pokemon are never seen anywhere near conflict or turmoil. In recent times, they've hardly been seen at all. Maybe because prefers the battle by biting apart foes' heads instantly while flying it by at high speed. What the? Whoa! That's graphic. Lions favor the distinctive aroma that drifts from this Pokemon leaves. There's a popular perfume made from the scent. Any who become captivated by the beauty of snowfall that Glaceon creates will be frozen before they know. Observing prey while hanging inverted from branches. When the chance it prevents itself, they swoop. Pokemon can be spotted in wall paintings from as far back as 10,000 years ago. For a while, it was thought to have gone extinct. Porygon Z had a program installed to allow it to move between dimensions, but the program also caused instability in Porygon Z's behavior. True to its honorable warrior image, it uses the blades of its elbows only in defense or something or what? In defense of something or something. In defense of something or someone. Although it can control its units known as mini noses, they sometimes get lost and don't come back. At the bidding of transmissions from the spirit world, it steals Pokemon and Pokemon away. No one knows whether it has a will of its own. After a woman met her end on a snowy mountain, her regrets lingered on. From then, this Pokemon was born. Its favorite food, frozen souls. One boy's invention led to a development of many different machines that could take advantage of Room's unique capabilities. Being of knowledge, it is said it can wipe the memory of those who see its eyes. Being of emotion, it taught humans the nobility of sorrow, pain, and joy. Being of willpower, it sleeps at the bottom of the lake to keep the world in balance. Pokemon spoke in legends. It was said that time began moving when Dialga was born. It said to live in the gap between spatial dimension parallel to ours. It appears in mythology. It dwells in volcanic caves. It digs in with its cross-shaped feet to crawl on ceilings and walls. It said it made Pokemon that look like itself from special ice mountain rocks and magma. This Pokemon is said to live in a world on the reverse side of ours where common knowledge is distorted and strange. Shiny particles are released from its wings like a veil. It is said that it represents the It is said that it is said to represent the crescent moon. I got it. When the water warms, just so we're aware. It's almost. So like, give me a break. You just now have to give me one break. Like, a lot of breaks. When the water warms, they inflate the flotation sac on their head and drift not even a word. They drift on the sea. That's not a word. That wasn't a word. They did not just give me a word there. It is born with a wondrous power that lets it bond with any kind of Pokemon. Chases people and Pokemon from its territory by causing them to experience deep nightmarish slumbers. It can dissolve toxins in the air to instantly transform ruined land into a lush field of flowers. According to the legends of Sinnoh, this Pokemon emerged from an egg and shaped all that there was in this world. This is actually how far I got last time when I got interrupted and I didn't stop. This Pokemon brings victory. It is said that trainers with Victini always win, regardless of the type of encounter. Being exposed to sunlight makes its movement swifter. It uses vines more adeptly than its hands. It moves along the ground as if it were sliding. Its swift movement befuddles its foes and attacks with a vine whip. It only gives its all against strong opponents who are not fazed by the glare from its noble eyes. It can deftly dodge its foes' attacks while shooting fireballs from its nose. It roasts berries before eating them. The more it eats, the more fuel it has to make fire in its stomach stronger. This fills it with even more power. It can throw a fire punch by setting its fist on fire with its fiery chin. The scallops on its stomach isn't just for battle. It can be used to break open hard berries as well. Strict training is how it learns to Strict training is how it learns its flowing double scallop technique. In the time it takes a foe to blink, it can draw and sheath the scimitars attached to its front legs. Using food stored in the cheek pouches, they can keep watch for days. They use their tails to communicate. Using luminescent matter, it makes its eyes and body glow and stuns attacking opponents. This Pokemon is courageous but also cautious. It uses its soft fur covering its face to collect information about its surroundings. Herdier are very smart and friendly Pokemon, so much so that there's a theory that Herdier were the first Pokemon to partner with people. These Pokemon seem to enjoy living with humans. Even a Stoutland caught in the wild will warm up to people in about 3 days. Steals from people just to amuse itself with their frustration. A rivalry exists between this Pokemon and Nickit. Don't be fooled by its gorgeous fur and elegant body. This is a moody and vicious Pokemon. Shares a leaf on its head with a weary looking Pokemon. These leaves are known to relieve stress. It attacks enemies with strikes of thin covered tail. This Pokemon is wild tempered. Very intelligent, roasts berries before eating them. Likes to help people. Flame burns inside its body. It scatters embers from its head and tail to sear its opponents. The water stored inside the tufts of the head is full of nutrients. Water plants with using its tail. High pressure water exposes its tail so powerful it can destroy a concrete wall. Late at night it appears beside people's pillows. As it feeds on dreams, the pattern on its body give off faint glow. When dark mists emanate from the body, don't get too near. If you do, your nightmares become reality. Where people go, these Pokemon follow. If you scatter food for them, be careful. Several hundreds of them can gather. Blows. No matter how far it travels, it can always find its way back to its master nest. Unfezant are exceptional flyers. The females are known for their stamina, while the males outclass them in terms of speed. When thunderclouds cover that's funny. When thunderclouds cover the sky, it will appear. It can catch lightning with its mane and store the electricity. When this ill-tempered Pokemon runs wild, it shoots lightning from its mane in all directions. It's as hard as steel, but apparently a long soak in water will cause it to soften a bit. If you see its orange crystal start to glow, be wary. It's about to fire off bursts of energy. This hardy Pokemon can often be found on construction sites and mines, working alongside people. While inside a cave, if you look up and see lots of heart-shaped markings lining the wall, it's evident that Woobat lived there. Emitting powerful sound waves tires it out. Afterwards, it won't be able to fly for a little while. It brings its claws together and whirls around at high speeds before brushing towards its enemies. Not uncommon for tunnels that appear have formed naturally to actually be a result of Excadrill rampant digging. Audino's sense of healing is superb. Not even a pebble rolling along over a mile away will escape Audino's ear. Loves helping out with construction projects. It loves it so much that it will rain. If rain causes work to halt, it swings its log around and throws a tantrum. Shows off its muscles to Machoke and other girder. If it fails to measure up to other Pokemon, it lies low for a little while. Concrete mixed by Conkeldurr is much more durable than normal concrete, even when the composition of the two materials are the same. Graceful ripples across the ocean. What? Graceful ripples running across the water surface are a sure sign that Temple are singing in high-pitched voices below. It weakens its prey with the sound of waves intense enough to cause headaches, then tangles them with its sticky tongue. Vibrating the bumps all over the body cause earthquake-like tremors. Seismitoad and Krogunk are similar species. Performs throwing moves with first-rate skills. Over the course of many battles, Throw Belt grows darker as it absorbs the wearer's sweat. See a Sawk training in the mountains in a single-minded pursuit of strength. It is best to quietly pass by. Pokemon makes clothes for itself. It chews up leaves and sews them with its sticky thread extruding from its mouth. Forests where Swadloon live have superb foliage because the nutrients they make from fallen leaves nourish the plant. Upon finding a small Pokemon, it weaves clothing for it from leaves by using the sticky silk secreted from its mouth. Venipede and Sizzlipede are similar species, but when the two meet, a huge fight ensues. Whirlipede Spins itself rapidly, charging into its opponents. Its top speed is 60 miles per hour. Scolipede latches onto its prey with its claws on its neck before slamming them onto the ground and jabbing its neck. Jabbing them with its claws. Toxic spikes. Shoots cotton from its body to protect itself. It can get caught with the hurricane strength winds. It can get sent from the other side of the earth. Scatters cotton all over the place as a prank. If it gets wet, it becomes too heavy to move and has no chance but to answer for its mischief. Petal appears around sources of clean water. Boiling leaves for this Pokemon's head result in a liquid that's sometimes used as a bug repellent. I believe that even first-rate gardeners have a hard time getting Lilligant's flower head to bloom. Anglers love the fight this Pokemon puts up on the hook, and there are many more ways to catch it. Many people release them in the lakes illicitly. The desert gets cold at night, so when the sun sets, this Pokemon burrows deep into the sands. Krokorok has specialized eyes that enable it to see in the dark. The ability lets Krokorok hunt in the dead of night without getting lost. This Pokemon is known as the Bully of the Sands. Crocodile Mighty Jaw can bite through heavy plates of iron with almost no effort. It derives its power from fire burning inside its body. If it fired to dwindles, the Pokemon will immediately fall asleep. The thick arms of this hot-blooded Pokemon can deliver punches capable of obliterating a dump truck. With noises that can be mistaken for rattles and maracas, it creates an upbeat rhythm, startling bird Pokemon and making them fly off in a hurry. When it finds a stone appealing, it creates a hole inside and uses it as a home. This Pokemon is a natural enemy of rock and roll. This highly territorial Pokemon prefers dry climates. It won't come out of the boulder rainy day. If it locks eyes with you, watch out. Nothing and no one is safe from the reckless headbutts of this troublesome one. As half-hearted as this Pokemon's kicks may seem, they pack enough punches to shatter concrete pillars. Psychic powers allow these Pokemon to fly. Some say that they're guardians of ancient cities. Others say they're guardians of emissaries. It wanders through the ruins by night, carrying a mask that was said to have a face when it was still human. This Pokemon has a body of sparkling gold. Pokemon will no longer resemble that it once was a human. This Pokemon inhabits ancient seas. Although it can still crawl, it has come up on the land in search of prey. Caracosta completely devours its prey, bones, shells, and all. Because of this, Caracosta's shell grows thick and sturdy. This Pokemon is successfully restored from a fossil. As research suggests, Arcan is unable to fly, but is very good at jumping. This needs a running start to take off. If it wants to fly, it first needs to run nearly 25 miles per hour, building speed of course, about 2.5 miles. Its favorite places are unsanitary ones. If you leave trash lying around, you can even find one of these Pokemon living in your room. Going speed mode. Speed mode. This Pokemon eats trash, which turns the poison inside its body. Main component of the poison depends on what sort of trash was eaten. Zorua is a timid Pokemon. This disposition seems to be led to the development of Zorua's ability to take on the form of other creatures. Don't worry about that one bit. Pokemon cares deeply about others and its kind. It will conjure terrifying illusions to keep its den and pack safe. The way it brushes away grime with its tail can be helpful when cleaning, but its focus on spotlessness can be cleaning more of a hassle. Its body secretes oil that this Pokemon spreads over its nest as a coating to protect it from dust. Chincino won't tolerate even a speck of this stuff. They're still only babies. Their psychic power is stored in their ribbon-like feelers, and sometimes they use that to power to fight. It is said that when a star shines in the night sky, these Pokemon will spirit away sleeping children, some call it the Witch of Punishment. Tremendous psychic powers, but it dislikes conflict. It will also predict the future based on the movement of stars. Communicates with others telepathically, body encapsulated in liquid, but it takes a heavy blow. The liquid will leak out. Psychic power can supposedly cover a range of more than half a mile, but only if its two brains can agree. Oh my god. While it could use its psychic powers in battle, this Pokemon prefers to swing its powerful arms around to beat its opponents into submission. While it's attacked, it uses its feathers to splash water, escaping under covers of the spray. Despite the elegant appearance, they can flap their wings strongly and fly for thousands of miles. Unable to survive in hot areas, it makes itself comfortable by breathing out cold air enough to cause snow. It burrows into the snow to sleep. By drinking pure water, it grows its icy body. This Pokemon can be hard to find on days with warm, sunny weather. When anger reaches a breaking point, this Pokemon unleashes a fiery blizzard that freezes every creature around it. Coloring changes according to seasons and can be slightly affected by temperature. They migrate according to seasons. People can tell the season by looking at Sawsbuck's horns. Emolga flows through the air, crackles with electricity. This Pokemon is cute, but it can cause a lot of trouble. Strange psychologically reacts to the electric. They use shells they've stolen from Shummet armor to protect. No one knows why the Pokeball-like pattern on Fungus means or why Fungus has it. This Pokemon puff poisonous powder spores as foes. If the spores aren't washed off quickly, they'll grow in the mushrooms wherever they land. Envelops prey in veil-like arms and draws in the deep 5 miles below the ocean surface. Most Pokemon's body composition is identical to seawater. Sunken ships is layered. Fishermen take long voyages. If you have a little mole with you, there will be no need for a doctor or medicine. Joltik can be found clinging to other Pokemon. It's soaking up static electricity because it can't produce a charge on its own. Launches electride from its abdomen as attack. Opponents hit by the fur could be in for full. What the fuck is? Opponents hit by the fur can be in for 3 full days of nights and paralysis. It defends itself by launching spikes, but its aim isn't very good at first. Only after a lot of practice will it improve. That's everybody. Pokemon scrapes its spikes across rocks and then uses the tips of its feelers to absorb the nutrients it finds within the stone. There's 2 mini gears that compose the Pokemon are closer than twins. The mesh will. Plan goes all out. The mini gear links up perfectly with the outer part of the big gear, and this Pokemon rotation. Spikes, it launches powerful blasts of electricity. Its red core contains an enormous amount of electricity. While one alone doesn't have much power, a chain of dynamo can be powerful as lightning. It wraps itself around prey and paralyzes it with electricity. From the round spots on the sides, it then chomps. With the sucker mouth, they suck in prey and use their fangs to shock the prey with electricity. If this Pokemon stands near a TV, strange sensory will appear on the TV. The sensory is said to be from its home. Whenever a Behemoth visits a farm, a double mysteriously disappears. Flame on its head keeps its body slightly warm as Pokemon takes lost children by the hand to guide them. This Pokemon appears just before someone passes away, so it's feared as an emissary of death. Haunts dilapidated mansions. It sways its arms to hypnotize opponents with ominous dancing of its flames. These Pokemon nest in the ground using their tusks to crush hard berries. Crushing berries is also how they test each other's strength. After battle, this Pokemon carefully sharpens its tusks on river rocks and needs to take care of its tusks. If one breaks, it will never grow back. Its resilient tusks are pride and joy. It licks up dirt to take up minerals and needs to keep in tusks in top condition. When this Pokemon is in good health, its snot becomes thicker and stickier. It will smear its snot on anything it doesn't like. It swims through frigid seas, searching for prey from frozen beneath. It forms icy fangs that are harder than steel. With its icy chains, Cragnole frees those it encounters. If it takes its victim away to somewhere unknown. When attacked, it tightly shuts the lid of its shell. The reaction fails to protect its Carablast. However, this will still get into the shell. It moves with blinding speed, lots of poison at foes, featuring Exceligor as a main character and a surefire way to make a movie or comic popular. Thanks to the bacteria living in the mud flats with it, this Pokemon developed organs uses to generate electricity. In 1 minute, a well-trained Mienfoo can chop with its arms more than 100 times. When Mienshao comes across a truly challenging opponent, it will lighten itself by biting off the fur of its arms. Gardegon lives in caves, but it never skips sunbathing, so it won't be able to move its body if it gets too cold. They were sculpted from clay in ancient times, no one knows why, but some of them were driven to continually line up boulders. Artillery platforms built into the walls of ancient castles serve as perches from which Golurk can fire energy beams. It uses river stones to maintain the cutting edges of the blades covering its body. These sharpened blades allow it to bring down opponents. It accompanied by a large... It's getting at me. It's getting at me again. It's accompanied by a large retinue of poniard Bitchirp. Keep an eye on the minions, ensuing none of them even think about double crossing it. These Pokemon can crush a car with no more than a headbutt. Bouffalant with their more hair on their head hold higher positions within the herd. If it spies a strong Pokemon, Rufflet can't resist challenging it to a battle, but if it loses, it starts bawling. Known for its bravery and pride, the majestic Pokemon is often seen as a motif for various kinds of emblems. It wears a bone to protect its rear, often squabbles with other of its kind, particularly comfy bones. Although it's a bit of a ruffian, this Pokemon will take the lost Volibee under its wing and care for them until they are ready to leave the nest. Hole in its tail allows it to draw in air and needs to keep fire burning. If the hole gets blocked, this Pokemon will fall ill. They lay their eggs deep in the nest. When attacked by Heatmore, they retaliate using their massive mandibles. When it encounters something, its first urge is usually to bite it. If it's something it likes to taste, it will commit the associated scent to memory. While hunting for prey, wildlets wander its territory. Its two-head often bickering which way to go. There are slew stories about villagers that were destroyed by Hydreigon. It bites anything it moves. while people of ancient times believed Larvister fell from the sun. Volcarona scatters burning scales. Some say it does this to start fires, others say it's trying to rescue those that suffer in the cold. This Pokemon appears in legends alongside Terrakion and Virizion, fighting humans in defense of the Unova's region Pokemon. It has phenomenal power. It will miraculously crush anyone or anything that bullies small Pokemon. A legend tells Pokemon are working together with Cobalion and Terrakion to protect the people of Unova. Lower half of its body is wrapped in a cloud of energy. It zooms around the sky at 200 miles per hour. Spike on its tail discharges immense bolts of lightning, flies around Unova, firing off lightning. This legendary Pokemon can scorch the earth with fire. It helps those who want to build a world of truth. This legendary Pokemon can scorch the world with lightning. It assists those who want to build an ideal world. Lands visited by Land Earth grant such bountiful crops that it has been hailed as the guardian of the fields. This legendary ice Pokemon waits for the hero to fill in missing parts of its body with truth or ideals. Crosses the world running over the surface of oceans and rivers. It appears at scenic waterfronts. Melodies sung by Mellow have the power to make the Pokemon hear them happy or sad. This ancient bug Pokemon was altered by Team Plasma. They upgrade the cannon on its back. The quills on its head are usually soft. When it flexes them, the points become so hard they can pierce rock. It relies on sturdy shell to deflect predators' attacks. It counteracts with sharp quills. Its tackle is forceful enough to flip 50-ton tank. It shields its allies with danger from its own body. Eating a twig fills it with energy. Its ruining ears vent air hotter than 390 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a twig stuck between its tail. With friction from its tail fur, it sets the twig on fire and launches into battle. It gazes into the flame of the tip of the branch to achieve a focused state, which allows it to see into the future. It secretes flexible bubbles from its chest and back. The bubbles reduce the damage it would otherwise take when attacked. It can throw bubble-covered pebbles with precise control, hitting empty cans up to 100 feet away. Creates stars out of compressed water when it spins them and throws them at high speeds. These stars can split metal in two. It excels at digging holes. Using its ears, it can dig nests 33 feet deep. With power equal to excavator, it can dig through dense bedrock. It's a huge help during tunnel construction. The melodious cries are actually warning. Fletchling will mercilessly peck at anything that enters its territory. Fletchinder launches embers into the den of its prey. When the prey comes leaping out, Fletchinder's sharp talons finish it off. Talonflame mainly preys upon the other bird Pokemon to intimidate opponents. It sends embers spewing from gaps between its feathers. When under attack from bird Pokemon, it spews a poisonous black powder that causes paralysis. Lives within thicket shadows. When predators attack, it quickly bristles the fur covering its body. Vivillon, with many different patterns found all over the world. These patterns are affected by the climate of their habitat. When they're young, live with pride. Once they're able to hunt down prey on their own, they're kicked out and have to make it their way on their own. Males are usually lazy, but when they attack by a strong foe, a male will protect its friends with no regard for its own safety. It's not safe without the flower of a flower. What the fuck? It's not safe without the power of a flower, but it will keep traveling around until it finds one the color and shape it wants. It raises flowers and uses them as a weapon. The more gorgeous the blossom, the more power it contains. It controls the flower it grows, the pale blizzard that Florges, following in the beauty and power. Thought to be one of the first Pokemon to live in harmony with humans, it has a placid disposition. It can tell a trainer's feeling by subtly shifting in the grips of its horn. Aesthetic sense lets them run as if one being. It chooses Pangoro as if its master, then imitates its master's actions. This is how it learns to battle and hunt. This Pokemon is quick to anger and has no problem using its prodigious strength to get its way. It lives for duels against Obstagoon. There was an era when aristocrats would compete to see who could trim their furfoos' fur into the most exquisite style. Though Esper's expression never changes, behind that blank stare is an intense struggle to contain its devastating psychic power. Revealing eye-like patterns on the inside of its eyes with unleash its psychic powers, it normally keeps the pattern hidden, however. Honedge's soul once belonged to a person who was killed a long time ago with the sword that makes up Honedge's body. Honedge evolves into twins. The two blades rub together to emit a metallic sound that unnerve opponents. Alright. This defensive stance, Aegislash uses its steel body and force to spectral power to reduce the damage of any attack. The scent pouch within this Pokemon's body allows it to create various scents. It changes diet will alter the fragrance. The scent it constantly emits from its fur is so powerful. Need a stretch. It's so powerful that this Pokemon's companions will eventually lose their sense of smell. Eats its own weight in sugar every day. If it doesn't get enough sugar, it becomes incredibly grumpy. By taking its in a person's scent, it can sniff out a mental and physical condition. It's hoped this skill will have many medical applications. It spins while making its luminescent spots flash. These spots allow it to communicate with others using different patterns of light. Gazing at its luminescent spots will quickly introduce a hypnotic state, putting the observer under Malamar's control. After two Binacle find a suitably sized rock, they adhere themselves to it and live together. They cooperate to gather food during high tide. 7 Binacle come together to form one Barbaracle. The Binacle that serves as the head gives orders to the serving as the limbs. Drifts in the ocean, blending in with seaweed. Whether other Pokemon come to feast on the seaweed, Skrelp feasts on them instead. Uses a poisonous liquid that capable of corroding metal to send tankers that enter its territory to the bottom of the sea. Launcher's claws can fall off during battle, but they'll regenerate. Meat inside the claws is popular as a delicacy in Galar. After using the feelers on its oversized claws to detect location of prey, Clawitzer launches a cannonball of water at its target. When spread, the frills of its head act like a solar panel, generating the power behind this Pokemon's electric moves. A now vanished desert culture treasured these Pokemon appropriately. When Heliolisk came to the Galar region, treasure came with them. This is an ancient Pokemon revived in modern times. It has a violent disposition and it will tear away anything it gets between its hefty jaws. This Pokemon is from about 100 million years ago. It has the presence of a king, vicious but magnificent. Pokemon was successfully restored from a fossil. In the past, it lived with other of its kind in cold lands where there were fewer predators. Aurorus was restored from a fossil. It is said that when this Pokemon howls, auroras appear in the night sky. By releasing immunity, erasing waves from its ribbon-like feelers, Sylveon stops any conflict. It drives its opponents to exhaustion with its agile maneuvers, then ends the fight with a flashy finishing move. Dedenne's whiskers pick up electrical waves other Dedenne send out. These Pokemon share locations of food or electricity with one another. Yo, we're so far. We got this. We're getting so far. Come on. It is currently very late. Carbink. I've never said a single name this whole time, but I said Carbink. Alright, I'm sorry. It's 4 fucking a.m. Why was I so aggressive? It didn't need to be that aggressive. Alright. It's almost 4:20. So, that's fun. Or take. When beset by attackers, Carbink wipes them all out by firing high energy beams from the gems embedded in its body. Because most of its body is water, it will dry up if the weather becomes too arid. It's considered the weakest dragon Pokemon. Although this Pokemon isn't very strong, its body is coated in a caustic slime that can melt through anything, so predators steer clear of it. Sometimes it misunderstands instructions and appears dazed or bewildered. Many trainers don't mind, finding this behavior to be adorable. Pokemon is constantly collecting keys and trust a cleft key with important keys, and the Pokemon will protect them no matter what. After a lost child perished in the forest, their spirit possesses a tree stump, causing their spirit's rebirth as this Pokemon. People fear it due to a belief that it devours any who try to cut down trees in the forest, but to the Pokemon it shares its wood with its kind. Spirits that wander this world are placed into Pumpkaboo's body. They are then moved on to the afterlife. Eerie cries emanate from its body in the dead of night. The sounds are said to be the wails of spirits who are suffering in the afterlife. They chill the air to about negative 150 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing the water in the air into ice that they use as armor. At high latitudes, this Pokemon can be found with clusters of bergamite on its back as it swims across the icebergs. After nightfall, they emerge from caves they nest in during the day. Using the ultrasonic waves, they go in the hunt for ripe fruit. Aggressive and cruel, these Pokemon will ruthlessly torture enemies that are. Legends say it can share eternal life. It sleeps for 1,000 years in the form of tree for its revival. When this legendary Pokemon's wings and tail feathers spread wide and glow red, it absorbs the life force of living creatures. This is Zygarde's form when about half of its pieces have been assembled. It plays a role in monitoring the ecosystem. A sudden transformation of Carbink, its pink glimmering body is said to be the loveliest sight in the whole world. It is the true form. In its true form, it possesses a huge amount of power. Legends of its avarice tell how it carried off an entire castle to gain the treasure within. It lets out billows of steam and disappears into dense fog. It is said to live in mountains where humans do not tread. It sends its feathers, which are as sharp as blades, flying in attack. Its legs are strong, so its kicks are formidable. This narcissistic Pokemon is a clean freak. If you don't groom it diligently, it will stop listening to you. It knocks its arrow quills, shoots them at opponents when it simply can't afford to miss. It tugs the vines on its head to improve focus. If you try too hard to get close, it won't open up to you. But if you do grow close, giving it too much attention is still a no-go. It can act spoiled if it grows up close to a trainer. A powerful Pokemon, sharp claws can leave a trainer's whole body covered in scratches. Although it's rough-mannered and egotistical, if it finds beating down unworthy opponents boring, it gets motivated from stronger opponents. The balloon it inflates from its nose grow larger and larger as it's practicing day by day. It gets excited when it sees a dance it doesn't know. This hard worker practices diligently until it can learn that dance. Every battle is a stage. It takes down its prey with beautiful singing. It pecks at trees with its hard beak. You can get some ideas of mood. Bend the tip of its beak to produce 100 different cries. Crack beaks with others to to communicate. Stomach takes up most of its torso. It's a big eater. So the amount of trainers have to spend on its food is no laughing matter. Although it wasn't originally found in Alola, this Pokemon was brought over a long time ago when there was a huge Rattata outbreak. Natural enemies like Rookidee may, rather than risk getting caught in large mandibles, snap thick tree branches. While its durable shell protects it from attacks, Chargebug strikes an enemy with jolts of electricity discharging from the tips of its jaw. It builds up electricity in its abdominal, focuses it through its jaw, and then fires electricity off in concentrated beams. Its hard pincers are well suited to both offensive and defense. Fights between two Crabrawler are like boxing matches. It stores coldness in its pincers and pummels its foes. It can even smash thick walls into ice bits. It wins the heart of its enemies with passionate dancing and then uses its opening it creates to burn them up with blazing flames. Nectar and pollen are its favorite here. You can find Cutiefly hovering around Gossifleur trying to find some of Gossifleur's pollen. Makes pollen puffs from pollen and nectar. Pollen effects depend on the type of nutrients and how much of each one is used. Pokemon can bond very strongly with its trainer, but also has a habit of biting. Lycanroc is calm and cautious. The rocks jutting from its mane are razor sharp. Individuals, they're weak, but gathering in schools, they're able to confront opponents. The first symptom of its sting is numbness. The next is itching sensation so intense that it is impossible to resist the urge to claw at your skin. To survive in the cold waters of Galar, this Pokemon forms a dome with its legs, enclosing its body so it can capture its own body heat. What the heck? Loads weighing up to 50 times as much of its own body weight pose no issue for this Pokemon. It's skilled at making use of mud. Mud that hardens around Muzzle's legs set in hardened stone. It's so hard that it allows Pokemon to scrap a truck with a single kick. Forms a water bubble at the rear of its body, then covers it with its head, meeting another dew pipe carrying water bubble sizes. It launches water bubbles with its leg, drowning prey with the bubbles. This Pokemon can time to savor its meal. Bathed in sunlight, this Pokemon emits a pleasantly sweet scent, which causes bug Pokemon to gather around. Pokemon resembles a beautiful flower. A properly raised Lurantis will have gorgeous, brilliant colors. Pokemon living in the forest eat delicious caps on Morlul's head. The caps regrow overnight. Its flickering spools lure and prey and put them to sleep. Once this Pokemon has its prey snoozing vitality with its fingertips. Venom sacs produce a fluid that this Pokemon heats up with the flame of its tail. Process creates poisonous gas. Only female Salazzle exists. They emit a gas laden with pheromones to captivate male Salandit. Fluffy fur is a delight to pet, but carelessly reaching out to touch this Pokemon cruiser. Once it accepts you as a friend, it tries to show its affection with a hug. Letting it do that is dangerous. It could easily shatter your bones. Its body gives off a sweet, fruity scent that is extremely appetizing to birds. As it twirls like a dancer, a sweet smell spreads out around it. Anyone who inhales the scent will feel a surge of happiness. This feared Pokemon has a long, slender leg and cruel heart. It shows no mercy as it stomps on its opponents. Comfey picks up flowers with its vines, decorates itself with them. For some reason, flowers won't wither. With waves on its fan, made from leaves and its own fur, Oranguru skillfully gives instructions to other Pokemon. Displaying amazing teamwork, they follow the orders of their boss as they help out with search for their favorite berries. Its natural cleaner eats anything and everything, including garbage and rotten things. The ground near its nest is always clean. It will do anything to win, taking advantage of every opportunity and finishing off opponents with the small claws of its front legs. Grudges with dead have been possessed on sand and become a Pokemon. Sandgas is found as a shovel on top of its head. Polisand is known as a beach nightmare. It pulls its prey down to the sand by controlling the sand itself and sucking out their souls. It lives in warm, shallow water. If it encounters a foe, it will spit out its internal organs as a means to punch them. Rumor has it that the theft of the top secret research notes led to the new instance of this Pokemon being created in the Galar region. A solid bond of trust between this Pokemon and its trainer awakens the strength hidden within Silvally. It can change its type at will. It lives in the ozone layer where it becomes food for stronger Pokemon. When it tries to run away, it falls to the ground. It stays asleep from the moment it was born. It falls into a deep sleep. It stops moving altogether. Explosive substances coat the shell on its back. Enemies that dare attack will be blown away by immense detonation. With the long hairs on its back, this Pokemon takes in electricity from other electric Pokemon. It stores what it absorbs in an electric sac. It wears a rag fashion and Pikachu costume in an effort to look less scary. Unfortunately, the costume only makes it creepy. Burrows underneath the sand, radiating psychic powers from a protuberance on its head. It waits for prey as it surveys the area. The mountains call it home for nearly 2 miles in height. On rare occasion, it descends to play with children living in the towns. After a piece of seaweed merged with debris from a sunken ship, it was reborn as this ghost Pokemon. They learn to fight by smashing their head skills together. The dueling strengthens both their skills and spirits. The scaleless, scarred parts of their body are signed in strength. It shows them off to defeat opponents. Clatters its tails to unnerve opponents. This Pokemon will battle all those who stand steadfast in the face of display. Although it's called a guardian deity, if a person or Pokemon puts it in a bad mood, it will become malevolent deity and attack. It heals the wounds of people and Pokemon by sprinkling them with sparkling scales. The guardian deity is worshipped on Akala. Although it's called a guardian deity, it's violent enough to crush anyone it sees as an enemy. Guardian deity of Pawnee Island manipulates water because it lives deep within a thick fog. It came to be both feared and revered. Even though it's helpless, gaseous body can be blown away by the slightest breeze. It doesn't seem to care. The king who ruled over Alola in times of antiquity called it the cocoon of the stars and built an altar to worship it. Sometimes the result of its opening an ultra wormhole is that energy and life forms from other worlds are called here to this world. Records of it exist in writing from long, long ago, where this is known by the name, the beast that calls the moon. A life form from another world, it was dubbed a UB and is thought to produce a strong neurotoxin. Although it's alien to this world and danger here, it apparently a common organism of the world where it normally lives. A life form that lives in another world, its body is thin and supple, but it also possesses great power. Although it's alien to this world and danger here, apparently a common organism in the world where it normally lives. One of the dangerous Ultra Beasts, high energy readings can be detected coming from both of its huge arms. This Ultra Beast body, which is as thin as paper, is sharpened like a sword. Although it's alien to this world and a danger here, dude, these are like all the same. It's apparently a common organism in the world where it normally lives. Looks somewhat pained as it rages around in search of light, which serves as its energy. It's apparently from another world. It synchronizes itself with others to understand their feelings. This faculty makes it useful for taking care of people. It slips into the shadows of others and mimics their power and movements. As it improves, it becomes stronger than those it's intimidating. The Ultra Beast is well enough liked to be chosen as a first partner in its own world. It stores hundreds of liters of poison liquid inside its body. It's one of the organisms known as Ultra Beasts. It appears from an ultra wormhole. Each one appeared to be made up of many life forms stacked on top of one another. It slithers towards people, then without warning, it triggers the explosion of its head. It's apparently a one-of-a-kind Ultra Beast. It electrifies its claws and tears its opponents apart with them. Even if they dodge its attack, they'll be electrocuted by the flying sparks. Melts particles of iron and metal found in the subsoil so it can absorb them into its body. At the end of its lifespan, metal will rust and fall apart. The small shards left behind will eventually be reborn as Meltan. We're not doing Gigantamax. When it uses its special stick to strike up a beat, the sound waves produced carry revitalizing energy to the plants and flowers in the area. The faster a Thwackey can beat out a rhythm with its two sticks, the more respect it wins from its peers. By drumming the taps into the power of its special tree stump, the roots of the stump follow its direction in battle. A warm-up of running around gets fire energy coursing this Pokemon's body. Once that happens, it's ready to fight at full power. Its thick and fluffy fur protect it from the cold and enable it to use hot fire moves. Juggles a pebble with its feet, turning into a burning soccer ball. Its shot strikes opponents hard and leaves them scorched. When this Pokemon cries, it tears back the chemical punch of 100 onions, and attackers won't be able to resist weaving. A clever combatant, this Pokemon uses water balloons created with moisture secretion from its palms. It has a hidden ability such as fingertips that can shoot water and membrane on its back that can use to glide through air. Found through the Galar region, this Pokemon becomes uneasy if its cheeks are ever completely empty of berries. Its stash of berries in its tail, so many Pokemon that fall out constantly, but this Pokemon is a bit slow-witted, so it doesn't notice the loss. It's bravely challenged any opponent no matter how powerful. This Pokemon benefits from every battle, even with defeat increasing its strength a bit. Smart enough to use tools in battle, this Pokemon has been seen picking up rocks and flinging them, or using ropes to wrap up enemies. This Pokemon reigns supreme in the skies of the Galar region. The black luster of its steel body could drive terror in the heart of any foe. A constant collector of information, this Pokemon is very smart. Very strong is what it isn't. It barely moves, but it isn't alive. Wait, what? It barely moves, but it's still alive, hiding its shell without food or water. It seems to be awake in its psychic powers. It's famous for its high level of intelligence and large size of brain. It is proof that it also possesses immense psychic powers. Aided by the soft pads of its feet, silently raids the food stores of other Pokemon and thrives on ill-gotten gains. It secretly marks potential targets with a scent. By following the scent, it stalks the target and steals from them when they least expect it. It anchors itself on the ground with a single leg, then basks in the sun. After absorbing enough sunlight, its petals spread as it blooms brilliantly. The seeds attached to the cotton fluff are full of nutrients. It spreads them so the wind and plants and other Pokemon can benefit from them. Its curly fleece is such of an effective cushion that this Pokemon could fall off of a cliff and stand right back up on the bottom unharmed. Weave a carpet from its springy wool and you will end up something closer to a trampoline. You'll start to bounce the moment you set foot on it. Apparently, its itch of its teeth impels it to snatch its jaw at anything in front of it. With jaws that can tear through steel rods, its highly aggressive Pokemon chomps down on unfortunate prey. This Pokemon is very popular as a herding dog in the Galar region. As it runs, it generates electricity from the base of its tail. This Pokemon generates electricity and channels it into legs to keep it going strong. Bolton can run nonstop for 3 full days. Most of this body has been the same composition as soil, fitting the Pokemon as discovered in coal mines over 400 years ago. It forms coal inside its body. Coal dropped from the Pokemon once helped fuel the lives of the Galar region. It's usually peaceful, but when Beldum mine enrages it, offenders will be incinerated with the flames that reach 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. It spends its entire life inside of an apple. It hides from natural enemies, birds, Pokemon, pretending to be an apple, nothing more. It ate a sour apple and induced an evolution in its cheeks. It stores an acid capable of causing chemical burns. Eating a sweet apple causes evolution. A nectar scent wafts from its body, luring and bug Pokemon it preys on. As it digs, it swallows sand and stores it in its neck pouch. The pouch can hold up to 17 pounds of sand. When it contracts its body, over 220 pounds of sand spray from its nose. If it ever runs out of sand, it becomes disheartened. It's so strong that it can knock out opponents in a single hit, but it also may forget when it's battling mid-fight. If it sees any opponent around it, this Pokemon charges from a straightaway, leading at its sharp jointed jaws. It is very proud of that jaw. If this Pokemon has a jaw that has a sharp spear and is strong as steel, apparently Barraskewda's flesh is surprisingly tasty. It stores poison in an internal poison sac and secretes that poison through its skin. If you test this poison, If you touch this Pokemon, a tingling sensation follows. Capable of generating 15,000 volts of electricity, this Pokemon looks down at all those who would challenge it. It stores flammable gas in its body, uses to generate heat. This yellow secretion on its body, on its belly, get particularly hot. When it heats up, its body temperature reaches 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. It lashes its body like a whip and launches itself at enemies. It's very curious, but a means of investigation thing is to try to punch them with its tentacles and search for food is what brings it onto land. A body made of nothing but muscle makes the grappling moves this Pokemon perform with tentacles tremendously powerful. This Pokemon is said to have been born from when a lonely spirit possesses a cup of leftover tea. This species lives in an antique teapot. Most pots are forgeries, but on a rare occasion, an authentic work is found. Via the protrusion on its head, it senses other creatures' emotion. If you don't have a calm disposition, it will never warm up to you. No matter who you are, if you bring strong emotion near this Pokemon, it will silence you violently. It emits psychic power strongly enough to cause headaches as a deterrent to the approach of others. Through its nose, it sucks up the emanations produced by people and Pokemon when they feel annoyed. It thrives off this negative energy. When it gets down on all fours as if to beg for forgiveness, it's trying to lure an opponent so it can stab them with a spear on its hair. When its hair wrapped around its body, helping to enhance its muscles, this Pokemon can overwhelm even Machamp. Its voice is staggering in volume, opposite to its tendency to take over threatening posture and shout. This move is known as Obstruct. What appears to be an iron helmet is actually hardened hair. This Pokemon lives for the thrill of battle. Its shell is overflowing with the heightened otherworldly energy. This ectoplasm serves as protection from this Pokemon's core spirit. Only Farfetch'd that have survived many battles can attain this evolution. When this Pokemon's leek withers, it will retire from combat. It's highly skilled at tap dancing. It waves its cane of ice in times with its graceful movement. Alright. A powerful curse was woven into an ancient painting. After absorbing the spirit of a Yan mask, the painting began to move. This Pokemon was born from a sweet-smelling particles in the air. Its body is made of cream. When a trusty trainer, it will treat them to berries it decorated with cream. 5 of them are troopers and 1 is the brass. The brass's orders are absolute. It feeds on seaweed using its teeth to scrape off its rocks. Electric current flows from the tips of its spine. It spits out threads imbued with sort of energy and it uses it to tie body to branches, disguising itself as an icicle. Icy scales fall from the wings like snow as it flies over fields and mountains. The temperature of its wings is less than negative 280 degrees Fahrenheit. It stands in grasslands watching the sun's descent from zenith to horizon. Ouch. This Pokemon has a talent for delivering dynamic kicks. It drifted on the flow of ocean water from a frigid place. It keeps its head ice constantly to make sure it is nice and cold. It uses the horn on its head to sense the emotions of others. Fuck it. We'll do male and female. There's a different one for male and female. Male will act as valet for those who serve, looking for those every need. These female intelligent Pokemon will touch horns with each other, share information between them. As it eats the seeds stored in its pocket like pouches, these Pokemon is not just satisfying constant hunger, it also generating electricity. It digs up the ground with its trunk, also very strong, being able to carry loads of other 5 tons without any problem. They came from another region long ago and worked together with humans. Their green skin is resistant to water. In ancient times, it was unbeatable to think power. Wait, what? It was unbeatable thanks to its lower body, but it went extinct anyways after it depleted all to. Ancient times, it was unbeatable thanks to its powerful lower body, but it went extinct anyways after it depleted all its plant-based food sources. The shaking of its freezing upper half is what generates electricity. It has a hard time walking around. The powerful legs and jaw made this apex predator of all time. Its own overhunting of its prey was what drove it to extinction. Though it's able to capture prey by freezing its surroundings, it has trouble eating the prey afterwards because its mouth is on top of its head. Alright, they gotta laugh. Its body resembles polished metal and both lightweight and strong. The only drawback is that it rusts easily. After being reborn as a ghost, Dreepy wanders the area it uses to inhabit back when it was alive in prehistoric seas. It's capable of flying faster than 120 miles per hour. It battles alongside Dreepy and dotes on them until they successfully evolve. When it isn't battling, it keeps Dreepy in the holes of its horns. Once a fight starts, it launches Dreepy like supersonic missiles. Known as a legendary hero, this Pokemon absorbs metal particles, transforming them into a weapon it uses to battle. In past times, it worked together with the king of the people to save the Galar region. It absorbs metals that it then uses in battle. The core of this chest absorbs energy emanating from the lands of the Galar region. This energy is what allows Eternatus to stay alive. Kung Fu trains hard to perfect its moves. The moves it masters will determine which form it takes when it evolves. This form of Urshifu is a strong believer in the one-hit KO. Its strategy is to leap to close foes and land devastating blow with hardened fist. It's believed that this Pokemon modeled its fighting style on the flow of a river, sometimes rapid, sometimes calm. Within dense forests, this Pokemon lives in a pack with others of its kind. It's incredibly aggressive and the other Pokemon in the forest near it. This Pokemon has a cluster of electrical energy. It's said that removing the rings of Regieleki's body will unleash the Pokemon's latent power. An academic theory proposes that Regidrago's arms were once the head of an ancient dragon Pokemon. This theory remains unproven. A glacier emits cold from its hooves. It's also a belligerent Pokemon. Anything it wants, it takes by force. It probes its surroundings with all sense save one. It doesn't use its sense of sight. Spectre kicks are said to separate soul from body. I thought it said it probes. Calyrex. It is a merciful Pokemon capable of providing healing and blessings. It reigned over the Galar region in times of yore. Oh my god. Oh my Arceus. We are done. We're done. That was it all. Oh, it's been 2 hours. It is currently 4:40 a.m. I did it before we hit 5 a.m. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Good night. Thank you for being here for 2 hours of listening to me read a Pokédex. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Bye now.